So I've done several deals where I've bought land at really deep discounts from multimillionaires, and this goes away from the traditional land flipping, land investing mindset of find someone who is poor, help them out with cash, quick cash, closing costs, and take care of all those things with the poor person. This is a completely different framing and a completely different conversation with the poor person versus with the wealthy person. Because the wealthy person just wants a service done for them, and you have to be able to frame the service in a way that they can trust that it's actually going to happen. So a lot of what I've dealt with and processes that I've created around consistently buying land from multimillionaires. And the other thing too, a lot of the deals that I've done where they've been multiple six-figure deals, they actually came from negotiating with someone who really didn't need the money. And so because they didn't really need the money, I can't hit them with all the, yeah, we'll do quick cash and we'll do this really fast and we'll pay our closing costs. I can't hit them with some of the techniques and tactics that we use for lower ticket deals. It just won't work, and it doesn't work. And so what does that framing process actually look like? And it really starts from marketing. When I'm marketing towards higher ticket assets, towards assets where I'm offering multiple six figures, I'm not even sending the same language in my mailer as I would, a normal $40,000 or $50,000 asset. For a $200,000 asset, the language is completely different. So a lot of the things that we say are different. Instead of property, we use the word asset. Instead of cash, we use the word capital, because I'm speaking to a specific kind of person. And every single time these people call back, and it's crazy because these will be larger companies that call us back and say, hey, we got your letter. We actually do need to sell this. And then I'll have to talk to a secretary of a secretary to get to the owner, because we're always trying to make sure we get to the owner. When you actually speak to the owner, you need to sound like an experienced investor. Now, the more deals you do, you don't need to actually sound like an experienced investor, because you just are. I've done so many deals that I don't need to sound like anything. I just am that. But for you that, you want to get in on a deal and make 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand. If you want to do that consistently, understand that on the front end of this is framing with your seller and talking to this specific kind of seller profile. So the best thing you do is help the seller understand that your way of doing business is better than anyone else, and you're actually going to perform on what you say you're going to do, because you're not the only letter that these people are going to get. So it becomes, how do I make my letter stand out? How do I make my text stand out? And then how do I make sure we stand out on the phone or even with our acquisitions process? Because this property is also not front of mind to this company. And so how do you keep it front of mind? You do this by following up consistently. With all of our follow-ups, we implement a 30-day strategy of call, text, email, voicemail. We do that for 30 days straight. So we make sure to get all the information and make sure to really hammer them with value. And I'm not just saying, hey, I want to follow up on this. Within this sequence, we're also showing, hey, here's a recent deal that we actually completed. A client similar to you, they also wanted to do a 1031 exchange, and we helped them do that. Or here's another deal that we bought here in an area that's close to yours. We're showing them things that we've already done within this 30-day sequence, building trust. Well, here's why people sell their land at a discount, sir, because they might need to liquidate quickly, and you don't want to deal with finding a realtor, paying fees, and all these different things that people have to go through when they get ready to consolidate their portfolio. The better you can frame a seller, the more money you're going to make. And I feel like people just make all this about just make offers, make offers, make offers, make offers, when it's not always about make offers. Yes, you do need to consistently have conversations, consistently be making offers. But also, if your offer hasn't been accepted, it might also just be because your seller doesn't trust you. So how do you get them to trust you? You get them to trust you by talking to them on the phone. You get them to trust you by telling you about the property, telling you about themselves, telling them about you, telling them about your company, what you stand for, where you come from. And then in the content, when you follow up, what does that content look like? Are you sending them helpful resources on how they can be best equipped to sell their land to you? If you can master the skill of talking to someone that doesn't need your money, that's not in desperation for the money, if you can master that skill, you'll master the art of doing six-figure deals. And because I've mastered this, a six-figure deal is like a drop in the bucket to me. It's not a big deal. And so many people are like, oh man, that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. It's once-in-a-lifetime thing, but it's not once-in-a-lifetime if you can understand how to get these deals under contract on the acquisition side. Because once you figure that out, once you buy right, it takes care of itself on the other end. If you did your market research like you were supposed to, if you bought right, if you negotiated properly, it's going to take care of itself on the other end, 10 times out of 10 times. But you have to master this first. Can you have six-figure deals with sellers that are not multimillionaires? Yes. But most of my deals have come from sellers in this position, and this is data that I've tracked. And so I've mastered the art of framing them, because I know, okay, well, if I just keep speaking to this person, I'm just going to make more and more money. It's just going to continuously happen. The other thing too is just sounding extremely confident in yourself on the phone. Everything you say needs to be said with conviction. So often I hear people, and even in Lamberts, when I break down my clients' calls, some clients that are newer, I can tell that because they haven't practiced this enough, they don't sound confident on the phone. They're stuttering, their voice doesn't sound like it has conviction. And if you sound like that with a person who has been successful already and is a millionaire already, they're going to catch wind of that very quickly. If you're not confident in the things that you say, I'm not going to believe you. I'm not going to trust you. You have to say everything that you say with conviction, even if you don't believe it. Even if you don't believe it. If you want to be a person that does a lot of deals, you got to start from somewhere. So you got to start confident. Don't start out, well, I'm hoping and maybe and potentially. We don't say words like that. We say words with definitely, will, absolutely, it's going to happen. That's how we talk. When you talk with certainty, people follow that. You need to speak with certainty in everything that you do, especially when it comes to talking on the phone to sellers. These are things that when I was coming up, I just didn't hear. No one told me any of these things. I had to figure it out on my own. No one told me the appropriate tonality to have with different seller profiles. No one taught me how to mirror, how to match. These are things that when you master, your business goes to the next level. Because your contract rate, your deals under contract rate, the deals that you buy will be so much higher than everyone else just because you master this thing alone. While everyone's focused on a new software or better data or all these different things that do not matter in your business, that are not the highest level of leverage in your business, when all these people are focused on that, you're focused on how to get better on the phone, which is why you'll make more money than everyone else. I think the other thing is not being intimidated by seeing a really big balance sheet or being intimidated by the stories that a seller might tell you. You can't be intimidated by these things, and you have to be able to be on the same level. There have been times where I didn't even have 250 grand. And I was talking to a guy that might be worth 30 mil, right? And I needed to be able to talk to this guy like I also had 8 figures. Because if I didn't get on the same level as him, he wouldn't trust me to close that deal. He wouldn't. These are just things that you have to understand as you grow on your journey, because as you are able to match a person, as you are able to talk to different kinds of people, and no matter who, no matter how they talk to you, no matter if they curse you out, if you can still de-escalate a conversation to the point where you can now talk about a deal, talk about getting something done, then you're going to make a lot of money in the land flipping business. The problem is people get discouraged when someone curses them out, or someone says no, or someone says you're a scam, or someone says anything negative. You get discouraged and you think this doesn't work, and then you feel bad about yourself, when the reality is if you get 5 to 10 deals done, you can change your life. You can make life-changing money. You do 5 deals at $25,000, your life has changed. A land business is service-based, and so you need to present your company as service-based first. What are the services that you provide? You can provide quick capital. You can do that on, a couple weeks notice. You can wire money. You don't have any loan approval process. You don't have any loans that need to get, underwritten or anything like that. A land flipping business is service-based first, and so you have to present your company as service first. What are the services that you provide? And you need to be able to convey those services in a very clear and concise way so that sellers understand it. If this profile of seller is confused at all, they won't do it. And so everything that you present, everything that you do needs to be in a way that makes things extremely clear to understand. You cannot confuse sellers. If you confuse sellers, they'll stop working with you. If I'm confused nowadays, I don't want to work with you. If I'm confused at all, I don't want to work with you. So now I'm in a position where people will try to buy land from me. I'm in a position where people try to offer me things and sell me services and all these things. I don't actually want to work with you if I'm confused at all. So the simpler, the better. If you can make these things simple, the better it is. So all these complex processes and all these complex systems, like, they don't really work. Because being in the position that I'm in now, I remember being 19, 20 and thinking that, I have to be, all this stuff has to be super complex, has to be super complicated in order for it to be successful. And that's the complete opposite of the truth. I don't want anything that is complicated in my life. I don't. I want to make my life as easy as possible. So dealing with this kind of seller, you need to speak in a way that is clear and concise. If you can do that, then you put yourself in position to consistently do six-figure deals and consistently buy land from multimillionaires, people with eight-figure portfolios at a deep discount. There's no secret sauce other than framing them correctly, making sure that in your marketing, it's speaking to that person specifically. And then even when they respond, making sure they have resources to look at you, look at your company, read an article, look at a deal that you've done, look at people you've worked with, look at people you've helped, how you've helped them. If they have things like that to look at, and then they talk to you, they're going to trust you. So you build that trust, you get these deals done. If you say everything that you say on the phone with confidence, you get these deals done. If you're not afraid to negotiate, you get these deals done. If you're not afraid to figure out why they're calling you when they don't really need money, but they're looking to offload an asset, figure out that motivation for calling, so that way they're not just telling you, I was just calling you, I was just wanted to sell. Instead of that, they break down their wall and tell you, well, actually, the reason why I called is because of this, is because we're not going to use it, or because I bought something bigger. You got to get these sellers to break down their walls and trust you, because once they do that, then you can actually work. But if you're on the phone like, oh yeah, we can do quick cash and I can close next week. If you're using that same gimmick over and over and over again, you're not going to do any deals. You're not going to do any deals. And you might do deals. You might do the deal that you make 15K, 20K on, but you'll never be able to buy land from this kind of profile. And I'm telling you, when you get these guys under contract, they're not going to back out of the deal. What's crazy is with all these sellers, I've never had a single seller like the profile I'm describing back out of a deal. Not one time has it happened. It's literally never happened. Why do you think that is? How do you think you get to the point to be that successful? You get to that point by doing what you say you're going to do, by following up on what you say you're going to do and following through, by showing up when it's time to show up. That's how you get there. So those are the people I want to work with, because I am that kind of person. And so you should aim to work with at least 5 to 10 sellers like this a year. If you can work with 5 to 10 sellers like this a year, then you don't have to worry about chasing after hundreds and hundreds of deals. More leverage equals more money, always. So if you can leverage bigger deals consistently, if you can leverage deals where you're going to make 60, 70, 100K consistently, you don't have to do as many deals. You can do 10 deals and make a lot more money with a lot less stress. If I'm being extremely honest, the same deals that I've closed where I made 7 grand, 10 grand, 13 grand, a lot of these deals were harder for me to close than the deals where I've made 70 grand, 100 grand, 300 grand. A lot of them were harder. A lot of the smaller deals were harder than the bigger deals. And I'm telling you this from experience. So why don't you just skip the smaller deals and learn the systems required to consistently do bigger deals, and make it so that these deals are not just sitting on the market forever. Learn the systems, learn the processes that it takes in order for you to do these deals consistently. If you want to master the skill of doing 6-figure deals, if you want to master the skill of framing multi-millionaire sellers and buying their land at deep discounts, book a call with me below. I'd be happy to talk to you and discuss how we can get you to your goal as fast as possible.